Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to class. I hope you are doing great. And we are going to start today's class in a reclined position. So take your time to get there. As always, if you need any props or need to set up in your house, I'll just give a few minutes for you to start setting up. And as always, I recommend you have a cushion or a block if you have it, or a thick book in order to accommodate your practice. Of course, this is not necessary, but it's always great to have something handy in case we need them. We need the props. All right. So as we start, as I said, we're going to start in a reclined position with the feet together and the knees moving apart in Supta Baddha Konasana. Bringing the soles of the feet to press firmly against each other, but not bring too much tension in here. So as you start in your reclined position in Supta Baddha Konasana, I want you to bring your feet to press and press firmly towards each other. And feel the work that starts generating on the inside of the legs. That's your adductors. And as you start feeling that kind of pressure or work on your inside of your legs, start relaxing. From here, start relaxing your legs and allowing your knees to fall towards the side. Maybe you invite one hand to your belly, the other hand to your heart. And just start connecting with yourself. And as you are in here, I want you to just notice what is the behavior of your breath in this pose. Is it your heart that is your chest that is lifting first? Is it your belly that is lifting first? Notice that in your hand. Can you make that breath even? Can you make those hands raise up and down, go up and down at the same time? Can you let go a little bit more with your knees, allowing your hips to open a little bit more? What is the sensation of your pelvic floor in this particular pose? Of course, what is the sensation of your hips? The part in your body in between your pelvic floor and the belly button. Can you allow your shoulders to relax down on the floor? Take a few more breaths in here. Sahana bhavatu, sahana punatu, sahaviryam karvavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu, mahim vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take a moment to set up any intention or any dedication to your practice in here. Take a deep breath in here. And a full breath out through the mouth to let it go. You can use your hands to help your legs back together, pressing the soles of the feet towards each other as you start bringing your knees together one more time. Taking a moment to press your feet on the ground as you start just releasing the knees side to side, finding some windshield wipers just to wash that out. Allowing the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze in here. Holding on to your right knee, let your left leg stay long on the mat. So you can keep your leg long in here with your foot active, or you can instead press your foot on the ground, just reducing that natural curvature on your lower back. The other leg is hugging in. Maybe you interlace your fingers in here, and you press your knee against your hand. We're going to do a little bit of pressure. We're going to put a little bit of pressure with our knee, kicking against the hand. The other foot is well planted on the floor, or the thigh is pressing on the ground. That's up to you. Take a nice deep inhale here. Full breath out. One more. On the exhale, relax the knee. Allow it to come a little bit closer to your chest. Release your left hand to your left hip bone. The other hand holds on to the knee as you open that knee towards the right hand side. Just moving slowly in here, just allowing your knee to go towards the right hand side as you press down with the left hand on your left hip to keep that even. Take another deep inhale. Full breath out. One more. And a long exhale. Maybe you stay in here with your knee bent, or you start extending that leg and you hold on to the leg with that right hand. Maybe you point the toes. Take another breath. And see it out. On your next inhale, start coming back to center. Extend the leg if it's not already there. Interlace your fingers behind your leg. Place it into the hamstring. Take a deep inhale here. Long exhale. Start inviting the leg a little bit more towards the chest. And again, we find that same kind of pressure against the hands, pushing the leg away from you against your hands, and your hands resisting in here against your leg. Take another in. Full breath out. Keep on pressing. One more. On the exhale, relax that pressure. Allow the leg to come a little bit closer towards your chest. Take another in. Long exhale. Releasing your right hand this time beside you. The other hand grabs the leg and start moving it towards the left hand side. If your knee was bent in here, maybe you need in here to straighten up that left leg. Take another deep inhale here as you find your twist. Maybe you invite your gaze towards the right hand. One last breath. Long exhale. On your next inhale, start coming back to center. Lift that leg up towards the sky. Join the other leg towards the ceiling. Point both toes, bringing the palms to the floor underneath your feet. Take a deep inhale here. On the exhale, lower them down just to a hover. Keeping them straight, reach it up. Exhale to lower down, keeping both legs tipped towards each other. Take a deep inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lower down just to a hover. Deep breath in, coming up. Exhale to lower. Last one, deep inhale, come back up. On the exhale, we lower down just to a hover and we stay. We take a full breath in. Long exhale. One more. On the exhale, we release both legs to the ground. Shake that out. Again, we invite the left knee towards the chest this time. Again, we decide if the other knee stays bent with the foot pressing on the ground or your leg long with your thigh pressing on the ground. Take another in. Full breath out. Start inviting that pressure. It's releasing your fingers on top of your knee as you start resisting in here, pushing the knee away from you against your hand. And your hands resist in here. They are holding in. Take another deep inhale. Long exhale. One more. On the exhale, maybe release a little bit of that pressure, bringing the knee towards the chest. Release your right hand to your hip. The other hand moves with your knee towards the left hand side, opening the hip in here. Take another breath. Long breath out. Maybe you stay in here, or maybe you extend that leg, bringing the hand to connect with your leg. That can be your ankle, your calf, your foot, or maybe your knee. You're staying here. Take another in. Exhale it out. Inhale to start coming back to center, extending the leg towards the sky as you interlace those hands right behind your leg, right into the hamstring. And we push again. We press the leg against the hands. We press the hands against the leg. Take another deep inhale, creating a little bit of pressure in here. Full breath out. Last one, inhale. On the exhale, release a little bit in here as the leg comes into the chest a little bit more. Maybe even climb the hands a little bit towards the foot as you start inviting that leg in. Take another in. Exhale it out. Grab that leg with your right hand. This time the other hand drops to the floor as you twist towards the opposite side, finding your twist. Trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. Maybe you invite the gaze to this side. Take another inhale here. This can be done with your knee bent if that is something you are choosing. Long exhale. One more. On the exhale, we start moving back to center. Hug those knees into the chest. Give them a little squeeze. Extend both legs towards the sky. Keep them both straight. You can keep your hands underneath your glutes, your hands beside you, or your hands overhead. Take another in. On the exhale, lower down just to a hug. Deep inhale, reach it up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press it up, keep them straight. Exhale, lower down, just to a hover. Last one, deep inhale, coming up. Exhale to lower, and we stay. We take a full breath in. Long exhale. One more. On the exhale, invite those knees into the chest. Give them a little squeeze. As we rock and roll a couple of times until we find our way to our tabletop, all fours. Pressing to those hands, pressing to those knees. As you start reaching your right leg behind you, the toes are at 6 o'clock, pressing to those hands. Take another deep inhale. On the exhale, bring the knee towards the nose. Deep inhale, reach it up. Exhale to round the spine, knee to nose. Deep inhale, extend. On the exhale, plant that foot in between the hands, setting up for Anjaneyasana position. Your fingertips are on the ground. We sink the hips low. Take another breath. Long exhale. Pressing to those hands. Maybe you tuck your toes. Option to stay here or option to extend the back leg. Take another inhale here. Full breath out. Press your left hand on the ground. Bring the right hand towards the sky or to rest on to your right side. Opening the chest, finding your twist. Take another breath. Exhale it out. Start coming back to center, squaring that foot, bringing the knee back to the ground, releasing the toes. Maybe you climb your hands to your thigh. Maybe you reach your hands towards the sky, finding a nice expression of this posture, whatever that means to you. Take another deep breath in. On the exhale, plant those hands, step back to your tabletop. Drop the belly to open the chest. On the exhale, bend the elbows, Ashtanga Namaskar. Press into those hands, come back up to your tabletop as you round the spine, touching the tailbone. Let's do that again. Deep inhale, open the chest. On the exhale, bend the elbows, chin and chest to the ground, Ashtanga Namaskar. Press into those hands, come back table as you tuck your tailbone and round the spine into your calf. Find the neutral position. Reach the left leg behind you. Take a nice deep breath in here, leading with the crown, extending from the back heel to the crown. On the exhale, knee to nose, round your spine. Deep inhale, press into those hands, reach back. Exhale, round your spine. Deep breath in, reaching back. Exhale to round. Last one, inhale, coming up back. On the exhale, plant that foot in between the hands, setting up for low lunge position again. The fingertips are on the floor. Take a breath as you let your hips sink a little bit lower. Option to stay in here, option to press those hands on the floor and tuck the toes as you start lifting the back leg off the ground. Take another breath. Long exhale. Press your right hand again on the ground as you reach the other hand towards the sky, or again, maybe you stay with your hand pressing into your thigh onto your lower back. Take another inhale here. Full exhale, and while you are in this pose, see if you can release a little bit of the weight into your hand and move it back into your foot. Take another breath. On the exhale, square that foot with your hands, bring your knees to the ground, untuck your toes. Nice deep inhale. Maybe you climb your hands back to your thigh, or maybe you reach towards the sky and stay for one more breath. On the exhale, plant those hands to step back to your table. As you drop the belly and open the chest, bend those elbows, chin and chest to the ground, Ashtanga Namaskar. Listen here. Inhale, find your back bend. On the exhale, push back to your child's pose. With your knees wide, your hips towards your heels. Take a couple more breaths. Press into those hands, start raising back up to your tabletop. As you tuck your toes and send your hips up and back, coming to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths in here as you move through your down dog. Maybe you start bending your knees one at a time, settling your feet. Start walking your hands towards your feet, lengthening the spine. On the exhale, we fold forward over the legs. We can open the feet hip distance apart and practice Pada Uttanasana. Lengthen the spine as you catch the big toes. Bend your knees as much as you need in this pose. Catch the big toes with pinch fingers and thumbs. Take a nice deep inhale as you lengthen. On the exhale, we fold forward over the legs and the crown of the head wants to touch the ground. Take another breath. Long exhale. One more.
On the exhale, we start lengthening again, releasing the toes, bringing the heels a little bit wider at this time, maybe mat distance apart, and maybe you start turning your toes towards the sides of the mat. Hands to the feet, stay on the floor as you start bringing your hips low into Malasana position. Bringing your hands to the center of the chest, maybe even finding a little bit of a sway in here, pressing into one foot or the other. Take another breath. Long exhale. Pressing into those hands, start to raise your hips one more time. Bringing the feet, again, hip distance apart as you walk your hands forward, coming into your downward facing dog. Take another deep breath in. Full breath out. On your next inhale, raise the heels, bend those knees, walk all the way to the top of the mat. Find a long spine, inhale, exhale to fold. Root down through the feet, come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti, hands by your side. Let's find Utkatasana, bend your knees, sit your hips low, reaching your hands towards the sky, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Just trying to lift from the pelvic floor all the way into your belly button. Take another deep inhale. On the exhale, sit a little bit lower, maybe your hands move in front of you. Take another inhale here. On the exhale, maybe you sit a little bit lower, and maybe you notice in here that you need your knees a little bit, your feet a little bit wider than what we were saying. So maybe you step your feet a little bit wider and you still bend your knees. Take another inhale here. On the exhale, sit a little bit lower. One more, and sit a little bit lower. Last one, inhale. Sit a little bit lower until you touch the bum on the ground, releasing the legs, maybe extending them, maybe keeping them at 90-degree angle. Maybe you hold on to your legs during Navasana. Take a breath. Long exhale. One more. Full exhale. Keep on breathing. Last one. Inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees, cross those ankles, bring your knees into the chest, give them a little squeeze. As you extend your legs into Dandasana position. And once we find Dandasana, take a moment here to look at this pose. How is this a straight line on your legs and from the crown of the head to the root, to the base of the spine. Take a nice deep inhale, roll the shoulders back. On the exhale, we walk the hands forward, coming to Paschimottanasana. Find some length in the spine. Maybe you catch the big toes in here. If you are feeling that for coming all the way to the big toes, you need to round the spine a lot, bend your knees instead. Bend your knees instead, sit very tall, catching onto the big toes. Take another deep inhale here. On the exhale, we hinge forward in here as we bend the elbows and bring the chest a little bit closer to the side. With time, of course, we will work with that action of start straightening the legs. Take another breath. Long exhale. Last one, inhale. Long breath out. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to release. Start bringing the right knee into the chest, bringing that foot on the each side of the thigh. So see how for Janu Shirshasana, when we sit in Dandasana, we just invite the knee into the chest and we just turn the knee towards the side and the foot crosses on the inside of the thigh. So nothing in my hips is changed in here. So they stayed in line. Take a nice inhale for a tall spine. On the exhale, we walk the hands forward. Maybe we reach for the foot, the ankle, the calf. Take a nice breath in here, keeping the chest lifted. On the exhale, we fold forward over the leg. Gaze towards the toes. Take a nice deep inhale. Full exhale. One more. Long breath out. On your next inhale, release your hands, lengthen the spine. Start walking your hands, come on back as you start bringing your ankle on top of your thigh, right above your knee. So we're doing like a, yes, it's more like in a 45-degree angle of your knee, or a 90-degree angle if you look at that from the outside. So both feet are active in here. Press your hands behind you. They might move either to your side or a little bit further back to maybe 1 foot back. As you start bending your left leg, that's your straight leg, start bending it, and you start pressing those hands, lifting your chest, pushing it towards your leg. So maybe you feel the stretch a lot in here and you need to back off, maybe start straightening the leg a little bit more. Or if you need to feel, you feel that you're not feeling enough of the stretching here, maybe you start sliding the foot a little bit closer to the glute. Keep the foot active, take another in. Long breath out. One more. And the long exhale. Start releasing the leg. Start releasing the foot. Extending both legs. Shaking that out. Cross those legs. Plant the hands in front of you. Step back to your plank. From here with knees or toes, we lower down. Find your back and inhale. On the exhale, push back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, raise the heels, bend the knee, walk, step or jump to a seated position one more time. Extend your legs. Let's find second side. So bring the left knee into the chest, bring the foot on the inside of the thigh. The hips are staying square. Take a nice deep inhale, sitting tall. On the exhale, we fold forward over the straight leg. We want to bring the chin towards the shin as we reach for the foot or the calf or the ankle or the knee. We want to keep that spine long as we inhale. On the exhale, we fold forward over the leg, bringing the torso a little bit closer to the thigh. Take another breath. The other foot is pressing firmly against your inner thigh, close to the pubic bone. Your heel is close to your pubic bone. Take another breath. Exhale it out. Inhale to lift the chest one more time. Exhale here. Releasing your leg. Start to bring that ankle on top of your thigh. As you bring that ankle on top of your thigh, keeping that foot active and the knee. We leave it there. We don't want to move it up and down, or we just let it be here. It might look like this. This is great. But just keep that leg active without touching it. Keep that leg active. We want that knee eventually to drop towards the floor. It will never touch the floor in this position, but we want it to go towards the floor. All right, maybe you bring your hands to the sides of your hips, or maybe you walk them a little bit further back as you start bending your right knee. Maybe you stay in here as you push into those hands and lift the chest. Careful in there to not lock your elbows as I do. I have a lot of hyperextension on my elbows, so I try to keep them bent in here. Try to keep my shoulder blades hugging towards each other as well. And as I start feeling a little bit less and less stretching here, maybe I find an opportunity to bring my heel a little bit closer to my glutes. Take another breath. Maybe you feel that your spine is rounding a lot in here. Maybe you need to bring your hands a little bit more further back. Take another breath here. Keep on hugging those shoulder blades towards each other. Long exhale. Last one, inhale. On the exhale, start releasing all the way to the ground. Release. Release that leg. Shake that up. Plant those hands. Cross those ankles. Lift up to step or jump back into your plank position. With knees or toes, we find chaturanga. Bend your elbows. Find your back and inhale. On the exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Take a couple more breaths in here. On your next inhale, raise the heels, bend those knees, walk, step, or jump to your seated position as you find your way into your reclined position. Bringing the feet to the mat. Taking a moment in here as you start setting up for your first Setu Bandhasana. So the feet, we bring them on the mat to move hip distance apart, pressing those hands on the floor. As we start activating both heads, keep on pressing the heels on the ground as you raise your hips towards the sky. Press your hands evenly on the floor, keeping the shoulder blades hugging towards each other. Take another deep breath in here and start noticing in here if your glutes are the ones that are doing all the work or the thighs are the ones that are on fire. Take another breath. Exhale it out. Last inhale. On the exhale, we release all the way to the ground. Let's find a second set of bridge, and I want to offer you a nice way to end up the practice with an inversion. So press your hands again on the ground. Maybe you find the same variation, or you press your feet again, hands again on the ground as you start lifting your hips off the ground. Interlacing your fingers behind you, maybe that's an option. As you start bringing the shoulder blades to hug towards each other even more. Keeping the chest open, the chin tucked, and the head slightly pressing on the ground so we can keep the neck off the ground completely. Take another breath. Long exhale. Last inhale. Full breath out. Start releasing your hands as you start bringing all the way down to the floor, your hips. So prepare for Sarvangasana or Viparita Karani. We can use the block. I'm going to show you a couple of options in here to go into Viparita Karani, but I really want to find some emphasis on the wall version. So if you have a wall near you and it's free and you can use it, it's great. This is a great variation. So for Viparita Karani, I'm just going to show you the version without the wall. We want to set up something firm right below the hip or supporting the lower lumbar. Not exactly the lower lumbar. It's that state of the sacrum, the back, so we can rest the hips in there. So we find this is a nice variation of supported bridge or Setu Bandhasana, and maybe we find our legs up in here with our hands on the ground, or maybe the hands are reaching behind us. Your choice for this one. All right. So for you
if you have a wall near you, this is a great variation of this pose. Let me see if you are able to. Yeah, yes. We may use the block or may not. That's up to you. But we want to bring the glutes as close as we can to the wall. So once the glutes are as close as we can to the wall, we set up to recline and send the legs up the wall. So you have the option to stay in here with your feet and your legs resting on the wall and just relaxing. If you want to find this variation of Viparita Kriani or Sarvangasana, which is shoulder stand, maybe you start by bending your knees in here and pressing your feet firmly on the wall. So we will find that same action we just found in Setu Bandhasana in our bridge, but this time we're gonna press the feet against the wall. Hands to the floor, take a deep inhale as you start lifting your hips. Maybe you need to walk your feet a little bit higher. Option to stay in here, option to catch your hips with your hands. And here, maybe you start playing with bringing one foot up and release it back down, and moving the other foot up and releasing it back down. Or maybe you play with both feet up, keeping the legs, the hips away from the midline. And of course, whenever you start feeling a little bit more confident in this pose, you start walking your hands a little bit upper onto your lower back. And we take a couple of breaths. We want to keep on pressing that back of the head on the ground. So we keep the back of the neck safe and off the ground. Take a couple of breaths. Wherever you are, if you try that option, just to go back and press one foot or both feet on the ground. And as you start pressing those feet against the wall, start releasing your head all the way to the ground as you release. And maybe you stay here for a moment. Very important in here, when we are up in our shoulders, really important that we are not turning side to side, because that will only help to the damaging of the neck. It can be, it can cause an injury or discomfort on the neck, and that is something we for sure want to avoid at all costs. Once you're ready, start releasing. And release away from the wall, just to close in here. And pressing the hands on their knees, your glutes, pressing the forearms firmly on the floor, coming to Matsyasana fish pose. With your legs long, start pressing your forearms on the ground as you puff the chest up, and maybe releasing your head back. The option is there for you to bring the crown of the head to the ground and touch it lightly. Lightly is the key. There is no compression at all on the neck. Never. Or the option is there just to float your head in space in here. Take another breath. Long exhale. Start tucking the chin to the chest one more time, releasing all the way down to the ground. As you bend your knees, keep them hip distance apart or mat distance apart and find some windshield wipers on your own. And once you've found those movements that you needed, you start inviting your knees into the chest to give them a little bit of a squeeze in here, a little bit of love. Take a deep breath in, long exhale to side out. Your next inhale, start squeezing a little bit more, engaging a little bit more. Big inhale to fill up the lungs. On the exhale, we release all the way down to the floor, finding our final relaxation posture, the most important posture of our practice. Shut up. Take your time to let your body relax in here. To let your body settle into the pose and surrender in it. Letting go of any thoughts that may be keep on coming to your mind without judgment. Just acknowledge them, observe them, and let them go. त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनाम् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृता ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनाम् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृता ॐ असतो मा सत्कमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति 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 If you feel happy in your Shavasana, you are welcome to stay as long as you need. If you're ready to invite some movement in your body, let's start by taking a deep breath in first and a full breath out to side out.
Whenever you start feeling ready, finding your fetal position on your right hand side, taking your time as you get there. Take your time, transition from there into your seated position with your eyes closed, your hands by your heart. Taking a moment to find gratitude for your practice, for the connection with your body, your mind, and your soul. Rub your palms together. As you cover your eyes, rub your palms one more time. Cover that part of the body that needs it the most right now. Thank you so much for your practice and connecting with me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. I will see you next time. Mangalam Bhavatu. I hope you have a peaceful day. See you next time.